Hey, I'm Andy. Welcome to the second instalment of Load Up Your Looper. If you missed last time, link in the description for the A minor bass jam. Today we're in D minor, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the notation and the tab, run through what the loop is so you can learn it for yourself, and then talk about some concepts you could work with to practice soloing over this. And it's kind of like a Marc Ribot maybe type vibe going on here. So this is our loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we kick off again. Chord wise, we're in D minor. That's our kind of important chord, that D minor, chord 1. And if we were in D minor, we'd have D minor, E minor 7 flat 5, F major or F major 7, G minor 7 or G minor, probably A7, although theoretically it should be A minor, and then B flat major or B flat major 7, C7, then back to a D minor of some description. We haven't obviously got all of those chords, but we've got chord 1, D minor, moving to G minor, chord 4, moving to the all-important dominant chord, and a little side step up to a B flat 7 just for a bit of tension, back to the A7, the 5 chord, and then using this diminished as a gateway back to D minor, and then B flat 7, and this time A7 sharp 5, just because it's a bit more interesting. The chord shapes you need are this sort of basic D minor bar chord. I'm not playing the top note on the E string, but you can if you want. A bit of a G minor bar chord and just playing 1, 2, 3, 4 strings on that voicing rather than all of it. 3 note A7 and B flat 7, E diminished, and A7 sharp 5 2. So those are the chords you need. Now, as you saw, the tab and the notation has the chord shapes on for you. If you want to make it easier for you to play, if you find it tricky with the bass runs, maybe just go just leaving that space where the bass is. And then maybe just go B flat, A7, just like that. That would be a way to pare it back if you want to make it a bit easier for yourself. So that's our loop. Obviously get that down first. So here's the loop I just recorded, and I put together a PDF which includes scales and intervals, double stops and arpeggios that we're going to look at. So I'll work through it as we go. So first off, natural choice for playing over a progression, a loop, is think about, well, what scale could I use? And I always think, try and keep it simple, and if possible, one scale. And we can get away with one scale this, and the best one I think would be D harmonic minor, this. So that's D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C sharp, D. Interesting points in there, why I really like this scale. The points where the notes are close together, semitone apart. The C sharp to the D, the A to the B flat. They're the tense, interesting parts. The E to the F. Resolving to the D. So that would be one octave. And then I've written out a second octave, so starting from where you finish. Same notes, just higher. So D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. And then we can put that together. I've written it out as one big 2 octave scale position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So then D is the most important note. When the chord changes to G, try and find a G. Chord changes to A, try and find an A. Try and find a D here. Then maybe an A. Resolving to a D. Resolving to a G. Need to resolve to an A. Need to resolve to a D. that's just, you know, following the chord D minor, resolve to a D when it's on that chord, resolve to a G when we're on the G minor. So that's the end note of my phrase. Resolve to an A where we're on the A chord and the B flat. So let me just play around with that. Really simple. I'm gonna find an A. Need to find a D. Need to find an A. Now those semitone bits. Really cool. I noticed the rhythm I was using there. Marc Ribot, this is kind of inspired by some of his sort of stuff. Yeah, him playing this kind of style. He really loves the quarter note triplet. So instead of an eighth note triplet, which would be 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, you put 2 triplets in a bar. Ba 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 ba. It's really if I play the scale with it, you'll hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds like I'm playing Narcos there. You find those tension points, those semitone points, but that rhythm, ba 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 ba. That's the 1 triplet, 2 triplet. It's like 2 triplets, but in the space of 4 beats. It's a cool rhythm, especially in this kind of Latin-esque style. So that's the D harmonic minor, and I'd encourage you to create phrases with it. Try and resolve to those notes. You could obviously resolve to the 3rd and the 5th of the chord too, yeah? But just want to keep things simple for today. Right, next on my PDF is thirds. So we can do thirds with any, you know, with these sort of scales. And typically, you know, people do scales, you know, thirds with the C major scale. But you can do it with this harmonic minor scale too. So this is what thirds sound like in this D harmonic minor. As you can hear, they work well over this. And combined with the scale as well. It doesn't always have to be played, you know, stay in your thirds, but D and F, E and G. And they will all have nicer points against the chords, yeah, there's reason for that. F and A, just going up it on the tab. G, B flat, that didn't sound good there, but it would against the G minor. A and C sharp, really tense there, but it would sound great against the A chord. B flat and D, works because that's the G minor chord. C sharp and E, works perfectly there because that's the A. Finishing on D and F, D chord coming now. So some will work better with certain points in the chords, but that's what you explore with the air. Trying to phrase with it. Next on the PDF, I've got the thirds also written on the next string set, which is the same. What I also like to do with these thirds is then add the odd note, like say. Really simple. So it's a third and I'm adding a note, and yet the note I'm adding is from the harmonic minor scale. adds some nice sort of sense of tension. I love the sounds of those thirds, really fit the bill, I think, for this. Now, something really cool, took me a while to get my head around. If you invert an octave, so if I take this D and F down here on the B and the E string, if you invert it, so you drop the top note an octave lower to this, a third inverts into a sixth. Now every interval inverts, and the rule is called the rule of 9, and you have this idea where basically if you invert an interval, it will become something to add up to 9. So if you invert a 3, it's got to be a 6, it's got to add up to 9. So just something to bear in mind. So, but if we put the scale in 6, we get, just checking how I've written them down, actually make sure I play on the right strings, otherwise it would be different to what you've got. You can find these on the other strings as well though. Play them together or like there, one after another. And then I'm trying to find the harmonic minor elsewhere on the fretboard. So I think there's a cool thing so far. You get in single note lines with the scale, maybe with that quarter note triplet rhythm. Finding the E to the F, the A to the B flat, C sharp to D. Remembering that in a scale, it's always those semitone intervals where the character lies, so in a jazz context, we want to exploit that. Now, we've done that. We've then moved on to thirds and sixths, right? Just because if you just play single notes, it gets a bit boring. And they just offer a different texture, a different dynamic. And the last thing I want to show you today is what I call speaking in chords, where if you take a chord shape and build it into like intervals. So if I took D minor, I might turn the thing off set while we do this actually. We've got D minor. We're going to build it like this. You see what I mean by speaking the chord? It says D minor. It's like doing an arpeggio, but with 2 notes, and you're mixing between thirds and a fourth in there, 2 fourths in there. So you got this first, that's a D and an F, so that's a third, F and an A, so that's a third, A and D a fourth, D and F another third, F and A third again. So approach them a semitone beneath. Change if you move that around for G minor, but we could do it in a different position. But that's outlining this shape really. Hopefully you can see that. I know I dropped down to fret 3 to get the start. You don't have to use all of it as well. Just use bits of it if you like. The G minor I've done here, just looking at what I've written, and we got with the, like based on where we've been using the chords, so same concept. You get an extra pair because we're using two more strings. We've got G and B flat and D, so that's minor third, major third here, B flat and D, D to G a fourth, D to B flat, the minor third again, B flat to D the major third, D to G the fourth. Hopefully you can hear the difference between the thirds and the fourths. Third, third, fourth, third, third, fourth. Okay, so far, so D minor, G minor. I hope you can see how easy this is to move around the fretboard. And then for A7, I've written it with the classic bar shape. And we've got A and C sharp, major third, C sharp and E, it's a minor third, E to A, a fourth, A to C sharp, major third again, C sharp to E, major, minor third, sorry, and then E to A the fourth. Now if I put the loop back on, I'll try and use some of those ideas. Now what you've got to do here, when the chord is D minor, you grab the, change it to G minor, A7. You need those. So I'm ignoring the B flat and the E diminished, so just like passing chords. So here's the loop again. So D minor, G minor, A7. D minor. I'll wait for it to come around again. I won't use all of it. Let's start on the top. G minor, A7. Approaching a semitone beneath. And you can combine with all the other ideas, you know, they would work too. So I hope you have fun with some of those concepts, some of those techniques. Yeah, always try and phrase, always try and experiment, always try and use your ear as much as possible. Try and develop ideas, have ideas that respond to each other. And one of the hardest things that I often find people, you know, miss out is space. So leave plenty of space. Don't be afraid of the silence and the gaps. They're as important as the notes you play. Anyway, let me know if you like the series, if you want me to continue doing it. I'll probably do one more and see how these three episodes have gone, what the feedback's like. I thought it'd just be interesting to share some perspectives about soloing over chords, and it's also nice to have some kind of little loops to jam over that are a bit more interesting, maybe, you know, and that's quite rhythmic. Got some interesting chords in it. It's not too difficult chordally either, so hope you enjoy it anyway. Leave me some feedback anyway, and jazz guitar lessons every Wednesday, every Saturday. Until next time, you take care.